Miles Thomas.
Heck yeah.
R.I.P. Miles. We don't know where you are, but we're gonna do it without him. We got the Bedin boys here, me and Frost, or whatever our name is. We still haven't decided.
We do need to decide that next week, no
Still need
matter
to
what.
decide the name. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea to get a little Twitter going and kind of give some news out to people or hashtags and all that good stuff. Yeah,
Agreed,
we
agreed.
think Miles is simping right now at the fair, Texas State Fair. So not
Wouldn't doubt it.
100% sure, but
Sounds like a Miles type of thing to do.
um, but yeah, we went what 3-0 last week on our parlay
3 and
or our picks. Frost made
3
a
and
little
0
parlay
plus.
out of it. I'm gonna start doing it from now on too. What were? Do you remember what the games were?
Yeah, the games were you or no Mills had the Bills lock.
Plus three.
You you had Arizona, and then I had the Steelers outright, and they were minus 2.5 or minus 3 or something like that. And
Who did the
actually,
Steelers play again?
the Broncos.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny. I had a bad week of betting last week. I think I lost like 3 units or something.
yeah. I
It
was
wasn't as
last week.
bad
I
as I
was
originally thought, but
yeah. I hit actually pretty well last week. I was up 6 units last week, so I was super
dang
happy
son.
about
Yeah,
about
what was I gonna? Oh yeah, I pulled my Steelers bet once I found out that Teddy was playing, and then the Steelers won.
Yeah, because that was the craziest drop. Once Teddy got announced, it
Mhm.
immediately went from the Steelers being favored to
Yeah,
the Broncos being
yeah.
favored. So it was
Moved the line about
crazy.
3 points.
Yeah.
I uh I was like, I'm out of this, and then screwed me
Thankfully,
over.
Steelers
There
defense
was
was
one
amazing.
point where I was looking at my bets, and I think I really got screwed over in like the noon games. I was with Pierce, and I was like, dude, I'm about to go like 1-9 right now. Like I was losing all of them, and they were so bad beats, bro. I had the
Uh,
Packers -3 at halftime, and they were up by 9 points, and then Jamar Chase gets a freaking 80-yard touchdown, and then the Packers had
yeah.
missed an extra point earlier, and so they had only won the halftime by 2 points. Um, but yeah, I kind of figured the Bengals always start slow, so I was like, all right, I'll take Packers -3 at half, and I should have just
Yeah.
taken it for the game, but I just figured they would get ahead fast.
I
But
think Packers,
yeah,
what, they're still undefeated when leading after half right now this season. So
oh really?
they're still doing pretty well there.
Yeah. All right, well, we can get started. I guess the first question can be who impressed you? Coach, players, team, anything like that?
Obviously, the player that impressed me the most this week was Lamar Jackson. Absolutely carried that team. Um, was playing MVP caliber football.
Hmm.
That was an electrifying Monday night game. Really did everything. He got lucky on the call where they called the fumble, but the guy forward lateral that could have been obviously the end
Yeah,
of
I
the
was gonna
game.
say he's really good until he has his fumbles. If
Yeah,
any of those fumbles go in a bad way, it could be bad.
but he had an amazing game. Won me my fantasy game this week. Was down literally 60 points, and he ended up scoring 42. And then I had Taylor in, who caught the touchdown pass, and then ended up running in for one. So that was nice. The not that guy this week for me. Probably NFL kickers. NFL kickers were horrible.
So
Um, Absolutely.
there's actually a debate on this in the sense that you know how most games they're like, all right, I'll take the 3 points. Now some people are like, oh, I want it at two now because it's like
Yeah.
guaranteed some kicker is gonna miss some extra point. Like I said earlier about the Packers, how I was like, oh, it's -3, it's a lock, and then Crosby misses an extra point and a half, and it was horrible. But yeah, I agree.
It just was
It's
horrible to watch the kickers this weekend, and obviously weather comes into play, but it just seemed like nobody was really clicking.
yeah.
Like we've seen, especially with Crosby, I didn't think for sure he would be missing that many. I mean, they had so many chances just to win that game before it even got to overtime, and just didn't seem like things were clicking too much. But yeah, that'd definitely be um, my not that guy would definitely be the kickers this week. It seemed like everybody was off, which helped some teams, but it wasn't enjoyable to watch. You really want to see them making the 30-yard field goals at least, and they were missing like crazy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It was definitely something that they brought up in one of the podcasts that I was listening to earlier today, that the kickers are definitely changing how you look at bets now, which is kind of funny.
I
Hello,
think I
Hack.
remember.
Hack's in our chat. Hack, yeah.
Um,
Miles is at the fair, I guess, when it's pouring rain. I don't know. We don't really know where he is, but we'd rather do it tonight than tomorrow with Thursday night football going on and all that. Um, let's see. I will say who I'm impressed with is my biased pick. I'm gonna go with Trayvon Diggs. He is getting interceptions all the time, and I definitely think he could be a sneaky defensive player of the year. He's at like plus 900 right now, which I think is like third or fourth. I think it's gonna kind of depend on the Cowboys and how we do the rest of the season. I think we have a pretty favorable schedule, and if we can somehow get like 13 and 4 or something like that, and we're really up in the seeds, and he ends up the season with 10 plus picks, I think he definitely could be in the running there.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Cowboys are going to have some home field advantage to say the least in this
I
offseason,
know, man. It's
which will be very very nice for them. So
it's something that I said in a couple of the other podcasts, but when it comes to the Cowboys, like there's always like that like scare that you're like something bad is gonna happen, and that really hasn't happened this season at all. And I think we're just like a very efficient team. Like Dak is not one to throw picks. Like Tony Romo was one to just throw some ridiculous passes, and it could benefit us, but it also hurts us. Um, and I think now that we're getting the run game down, we can kind of just like run it and opens up the pass, and our defense is actually looking like I would say maybe like top 10, top 15 in
I
the
think it's
system
definitely in
defense,
the
and our
I think
offense
it's
is easily
definitely in
top
the
five.
top 15 portion, no matter what. Like right
Yeah,
now, they're just absolutely lights out. They still have issues, even with Diggs. They still have issues for allowing passing yards. They do allow big chunk plays still, but they do take advantage of the turnovers, which is what you want to see.
right,
So I think by the end of this year, they're going to be in perfect position. And like you were saying, it's always like we're waiting to see, like, oh, how's Jerry going to fuck this one up? Like it hasn't happened.
right,
And even with Mike McCarthy's horrible game management, they're still winning the games.
right,
And that's the best part. Like that team is now so solid. They've hit on all of their draft picks right now, and they've taken advantage of a obviously weaker division right
right,
now.
right.
They are going to curb stomp everybody in that division.
I think we could six
So
and zero that, at least like 5-1.
I think 5-1. I think you trade with the Eagles for one game. I think the Eagles they're not competent, but I think they can still pull a sneaky
I
win
think
out
I
of
would
there.
be more scared of Washington than the Eagles. I think we always have the Eagles number, but um, Hack said, "What world am I living where Frost is talking up the Cowboys?"
No,
But yeah, I think if the Cowboys can get it up to the 1 or 2 seed, and we get a favorable, maybe we get like the Vikings on like the 7 or 6 seed, or the 49ers, or a team that's easily beatable. And then we get lucky the next couple games, not necessarily lucky, but things go our way. Um, then we could sneak in there. I think there's definitely like 4 or 5 teams in the NFC that are all pretty equal, I would say right now, or at least very close. Um,
yeah.
yeah, if anyone's in the chat, Mills is simping right now. So if he's ever attacked you before, that's why he's not on the podcast. Let's see, not that guy. I think it kind of mirrors what you said, but um, the Colts are not that guy, and that kind of goes with the kicker too, right? He had a little
Yeah.
injury, but man, I've been right about them all season, and even when they're so ahead and Colin is super excited, they just find a way to choke the game, man. Like I just can't with that team. It's so funny. I really like if I'm like hitting all my futures right now, like all the bets that I had. Had like Bills winning division, Packers. I had Cowboys going to the playoffs. Um, and I really wanted to bet like the Titans winning the division, even though I didn't like them, or like bet on the under on the Colts. And I I just was scared because all these people I was listening to were like, Colts are gonna, this is it, Colts. So I was just like,
It
fuck.
just
Next season I'm going with my gut and I'm just gonna do whatever I think rather than listening to people.
Yeah, I definitely. I feel like their defense is still. I think their defense is still good. It's just that their offense doesn't give them enough time to rest. It's the same situation like with Kansas City's. Like Kansas City's
Yeah.
defense, they scored so fast. Their defense had to go out there so often, so they gave up big plays for Kansas City's defense. But this year, Kansas City's defense is a completely different story. It's just
Oh, it's terrible.
like I don't think like their defense is what I thought the Cardinals defense would be this year.
Hmm.
Like I thought for sure they'd have a cornerback just conundrum, and the Cardinals have been absolutely amazing right now, and they're the only undefeated team. But I don't think the Cardinals will go undefeated for the rest of the season. But I think that defense is
Robert's
station
predicting a loss this week, or maybe he is. We don't really know
Yeah, we
exactly
don't
what
know. He doesn't
Robert's
pick. He
meaning,
doesn't pick.
but
You
he
never
said
know.
there could be upset alert. We'll just say that much.
Yeah.
All right. When Miles gets back next week, we're gonna do the quarterbacks. I need to put my list together. I am like, I would almost say 100% sure that there's a top 10. Um, maybe someone probably, Miles will probably sneak Burrow in there or something, but I will disagree. Um,
Burrow's not
but
tough.
I think I have my top 10, at least the 10 people locked in. So I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change. I think everybody's top 10 will be pretty similar, maybe one or two off.
Yeah.
But I don't think like the top like six or seven are all going to be in everybody's top 10. Like it's going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go on to the first game, which is tomorrow. Um, we got the Bucks at the Eagles. What are you thinking, Frost?
So on this one, I did want the Eagles to. I believe it's at 6.5 right now.
Yeah.
Is what it's currently at. I wanted it at 7. If I was going to be taking the Eagles just for safety reasons. Um, the Buccaneers absolutely blew out the Dolphins last week, and that was a surprise to me.
Hmm.
I think it was a 10-point spread, and they easily covered.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where you
Brissett
kind
was
of
down
look at
though,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you kind of look at it in the aspect of you take what's bad and what's good. So obviously, what's bad for the Bucks is their secondary is atrocious. Literally, have people walking off the street to be their cornerbacks, pretty much. Um,
Literally.
I think Jalen Hurts will be able to keep it close on this one. I know we were talking earlier about the prop bets for his yardage, and I think he's going to cover that for sure. On this one, I lean towards the 6.5 for the Eagles. Not that they're going to win it all, but I think they can keep it close enough to where it's going to be like a field goal type of game where it's 3 points, even though we just talked about field goals and the kickers missing
Hmm.
everything.
Or
I
two
think
points
they
in that
can.
case.
Yeah,
Or
and they're playing at Philly, so
yeah.
I love when the home team's an underdog, um, especially in this case. I think the Eagles can cover that for 6.5. I'd like it at 7 just for safety, but
If you had to
if
pick.
it gave me 6.5, I'd still pick the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in agreement with you. Same thing. I think the Buccaneers have definitely I mean, the way they played the Patriots, the Cowboys, both of those games are close. Um, I mean, they've blown out a couple teams, but whoever they played were very bad. So who did they play? Like, was it the Texans and the um,
Yeah,
Dolphins. So it's
Yeah,
like,
the
all right,
Dolphins.
congrats. I think the Eagles will
Yeah,
be competent enough, and I think, like you said, the Eagles fans are crazy. Like right now, they're probably awake for tomorrow's game, like for 24 hours.
yeah,
Psychopaths. They're probably already pre-gaming it. So,
they're going to be
um,
hungry for that, and I think they were happy that the Eagles won this last weekend, which is a thing. I think they were thinking maybe they weren't going to win, but the defense for the Eagles actually showed up to that game, which was nice. Had 3 turnovers. Obviously, Sam Darnold kind of reverted back to his old ways. But if the Eagles can put up at least a little bit of defense, I think they can keep it within 6.5.
yeah, for sure. All right, we'll move on to the next one. We got Dolphins at Jags. Looking at it, I'm kind of actually I've been a anti-Jags the entire season, but with this being like home underdog against a
Well,
team that's
remember,
like,
this is not a home game. This is in London.
oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
Still though, I think London people like
They
I feel like
love
the
the Jags.
Jags play all the time over
Well,
there.
remember the owners like from I think he's from London or wherever he's from. He's not from America. I know he's from London. They
Okay.
have a huge crowd basis there in London. Like Jags almost play there
Yeah.
almost every year. I feel like they have like that's the only team that for sure goes over there every single year.
Right. I mean, home field is meaning a little bit less, and even so, I mean, I still think this should be like closer to a coin flip for me. Like I think both teams are around like bottom five right now,
Yeah,
and I mean Miami has been like they can't even keep games close. Like I wonder what they're like against the spread is. But yeah, I mean, I've been fading the Jags. I think Urban Meyer, I almost bet on him to be the first coach to get fired. Um, it was like plus 100, but yeah, I think the Jags are probably the move. I'm probably just gonna money line them at plus 145 and run with that. So, what are you
yeah. I
thinking?
like
Same
I
thing?
like that. I lean towards the Jags on this one. I like the 3.5. You're giving me over a field goal to cover, so even if they don't win, I still like their odds to keep it close. I think it's going to be two bad teams playing each other. You're not going to have a huge fan base there, obviously. I don't believe Tua comes back for this game. I think it's still Brisket there. But Miami's run game has been absolutely atrocious too. Like I just don't know what happened to Gaskins. Like
Yeah, I
he's
have
not
him in
producing.
like
Like
either one or two of my leagues, and he's been on the bench the entire
yeah,
season.
not producing. And I think the Jags this will be Trevor Lawrence's first win. Of course, it's not
Yeah.
going to be at
I
home.
mean, they've been
So
getting
it's
close. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
They still keep it close.
they've
Like
been
they
playing
keep
games
teams.
close. Like they're bound to, I definitely would say like Trevor Lawrence is on the up. I mean,
Yeah,
he not much like he started for much, but I mean it's a team problem for
yeah.
sure.
Out of all the rookie QBs, I think he's still the better of all the rookie
Yeah.
QBs so far. And so I think this will be the Jags' first win of the season. I don't think they win much after it, but they're good at keeping teams close for the first like 2 to 3 quarters, and then they drop off.
Hmm.
It seems like Urban Meyer just doesn't know how to get a second half plan going, um, which is a little concerning if you want him as your head coach. So they need to work on getting their second half really rolling. They're really good in the first 2 quarters. They keep it close, but then they fall off in the third and fourth. Um, but yeah, I do like the Jags on this one.
Alrighty, that's double agreement there. Good thing Miles isn't here. He'd probably ruin our agreements. We'll go Chargers Ravens next. So the Ravens are 2.5 point favorites at home. I personally think that I would take the Chargers here. Um, I think that the Ravens have been getting lucky a little bit. Like I don't know, yeah, they won with a 66-yard field goal against the Lions, and then even on Monday, was that Monday? Yeah, Monday. Yeah. Then Monday they play the Colts, and they definitely could have lost that. I mean, I think Lamar's good, but I think he has his fumbling kind of scares me a little bit, And with like the Chargers, I just kind of like Herbert a little more than him, and just their like overall team. And I think when it comes down to here, I think this game's like kind of a coin flip as well. Um, like when you take the two teams like next to each other, I mean I would probably lean Chargers a little bit, but I mean that's kind of why I'm picking them here. What about you?
Yeah, on this one, I think luck runs out for Lamar. I think the defense for the Chargers is a lot better than what people are giving them credit for. I think they'll be able to come up with a game plan for them on this one, and Chargers really look like a really
I
good
mean they look like a
cohesive
top
unit.
top
Like,
five team probably,
yeah,
right?
and right now, let me see. I think against the spread right now, they're 4-1 this season.
Was the
So
loss was the Cowboys, right?
that was
Yeah,
the one they
and
did
that
not
that
cover.
was still close,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
I
I'd be
still
curious. What's the Ravens against the spread, or do you have any idea?
let's
They
see
have
the
to be like 1-4 or something.
Ravens, Baltimore. They are 2-3 against the
Oh,
spread.
Chiefs, they probably right.
Yeah, and so I like the Chargers here. They're on a roll. I think Justin Herbert is he's going to be cooking on all cylinders. Obviously, Lamar's coming off of one of his greatest offensive games of the year. I think they've had so many close games
Right.
that it's starting to scare me a little bit. Like that defense is really letting teams keep it that close, and so that's the one thing I think the Chargers will be able to win this pretty
Yeah.
handily.
I don't.
I
I
think a
don't.
touchdown for sure. Actually, for
Yeah.
me, I would, but since it's in Baltimore, I understand why they're favored. But this is pretty much side by side. I'd say the Chargers are maybe a little bit better overall. I do like the running backs, obviously, for the Chargers better than Baltimore. QB wise, I like Lamar better than Herbert just because of the run game he can produce. Herbert
Uh-huh.
can still has wheels,
Yeah.
but
I just think
I do
Herbert
like the
has
Chargers.
more weapons.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
think.
Eckler and his two receivers, and
Yep,
yeah,
I like not having to rely on Hollywood Brown to drop a touchdown pass again. I I, I like the weapons that the Chargers have. So
yeah, yeah. I think we're in agreement on that one.
yeah,
Let's see, Vikings, Panthers. So we got Panthers are 1.5 point underdogs.
this
Yeah.
line's moved. I
Wait, what was it?
think it was at 2.5, and so they're moving down,
Wait, there.
going towards Minnesota.
What? Wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait, wait. Wait. The
so they
Vikings
had
were
they
two
had
and a half
Minnesota.
favorites.
Yeah, so the no Carolina or sorry Minnesota was at like minus.
2.5.
They were at minus 2.5, so they're going
Okay,
towards
so people are
Carolina. So
betting Carolina. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I have the Panthers in this one. I think the Vikings are kind of a different team when it comes to like road and home games, and I I get that the Panthers are coming down to earth a little bit, but I still think like with them playing at home and their defense looking good, and I just uh, I think with the we go back to looking at the value of the plus 105. I think you got to roll with the Panthers here on this one. What do you think?
yeah, I like the Panthers on this one. I think
Even I didn't watch the
even
Panthers Eagles
even
game.
after last,
I didn't
yeah,
watch that
even
game,
after
but
last
weren't
week,
they? I mean, weren't they ahead the entire game? Then the Eagles just came
yeah,
back and beat them.
they
Or
still they still had control of the game, and I think this is one of those games where Sam Darnold just has to forget what happened last week and just move on and continue playing. He's the Panthers right now. They're 2-1 against the spread at home,
uh-huh.
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely not bad. So I do like the Panthers on this one. This is pretty much just a straight up pick 'em. This almost may be my lock of the week. I haven't decided yet. Um, but I just don't know what it is about Minnesota. I just don't like the
Right.
way they're
I
winning.
I've
They're
I've
not
always
winning.
I've always been sus of them. I think a lot of people even preseason had them being over the Packers in that division, and I just didn't really understand like why people thought that. Like
No,
what do they really have that like I mean,
Yeah,
they're just a mediocre team, and
yep,
I mean, I think the Panthers are kind of a mediocre team also. But if you're telling me you're an underdog at home, and I think especially when it comes to Kirk Cousins, he looks a little different at home than he does away, and I think the Panthers have played like some decent competition as well, or at least the past like 2 or 3 games or whatever,
yeah,
and I think that's going to be the move for me. I'm kind of just confused why the lines at this, and I guess other people are agreeing with me on that, because it's moved from 2.5 to 1.5.
yep.
Um, but maybe it, you know, see, if I were to guess this, I probably would have said like -2 Panthers or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
don't know
Vegas
why they're
is
not
is
giving
telling
them
us
full home
something.
field.
This is
But
when like week 1 where the Packers were only 3-point favorites or whatever against the Saints, and I was like, okay, this is just off. And of course they get just freaking blown out. So watch
yeah, the
that
one
happen in
game
this
of the
game.
year that they're gonna blow out.
Right. The
Make
freaking
Jameis
Vikings are
Winston
gonna
look like an MVP.
Vikings are gonna win like 31-3 or something like that, and I'm just gonna be looking dumb. So
Yeah, this is gonna be one of my games where if the Panthers don't, hold their own for the game, and
mhm.
I don't care if they win the bet or not, but they don't play well. I think I'd fade them after this week.
Yeah,
I don't think I can trust them because if Sam Darnold comes out and does another Sam Darnold type of performance, then that's when I think the Panthers need to be concerned.
yeah,
They obviously didn't give up a whole lot for him, which was fine. So, but they did believe in him more than Teddy Bridgewater. So it's one of those things. I think the Panthers really they're very one dimensional when it comes to their offense. And without Christian McCaffrey there, that's the thing that always got me. But now he's going to be playing in this game possibly,
do we
so
know for
it's
sure or no?
no, it's still limited practice. I think
Yeah,
is for what the reports are showing. So if he's in, for sure, this line jumps up. Obviously to probably where Carolina becomes favored then at that point. And again, it's a home underdog. It's one
right.
of those things. I love home underdogs, and if Chris McCaffrey gets announced how he's playing, I bet that line goes from 1.5 to the opposite side of Carolina, then favored by 1.5.
hmm Um, yeah, I would say role players, or I guess he wouldn't really count as a role player, but normally like a player like that, like maybe like Saquon Barkley or Zeke or something, they'll usually move the line like 1 point. But yeah, I think in the sense of the Panthers, they're one of those teams that, I mean, the dude gets the ball half the time, like literally half the
I
time.
think it's I think it's
So
like
he's a
75%
he's a huge
probably.
part of their offense. So yeah, missing him is not fun for sure. I mean,
Hubbard's
I
been
think
good though.
if huh?
Hubbard's been
Oh
doing
yeah,
well.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, looks like we're on a sweep. I think Hack is on our side for all the games too, from what I'm looking at the chat. Um, Next game is Packers at Bears. Um, I am going to take the Packers here at 4.5. I don't love it, but I don't think I can trust the Bears yet, and I think that Aaron Rodgers always squeaks by. And I think the Packers normally kind of have the Bears number, like in a general sense. So I, even though the Bear, what are they, 3-2? I think they're 3-2.
Yeah, the Bears are 3-2
Yeah,
right now.
I just I don't know if I can trust them. Like Montgomery's not playing, and we got a rookie quarterback against Aaron Rodgers. I could see why someone would be on their side just because it's like, what you said, a home underdog. But I think maybe I'm a biased person, but I just kind of trust, or a biased fan towards Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just gonna roll with him and keep going until they let me down. They've proven me right in the past, what, 3 or 4 weeks, that they're
Yeah.
that they're good. So what are you thinking?
Right now, it is kind of a tough one because Packers have done really well at covering the spread. Right now, they're 4-1, 2-1 when they're away, actually. But in regards to, I'm just looking at the line itself. So the 4.5 is one where I'm going to take the Bears on this one. This is the only one I would disagree with. It's going to be mainly because you're giving me 4.5. You're giving me Justin Fields after one game. I think they've come up with a game plan now where they're going to have him throwing probably 20, 30 times. Obviously, the Montgomery injury is something that's concerning because he really is he's the workhorse for that team. He's really the catalyst that makes everything go. He's the Zeke of that team. Like he needs to be there for them to do well. But if you're giving me 4.5 at home and they're the underdogs, I still
And
like that.
I will say it probably could be a low scoring game too, just
Yeah,
because I feel like the Bears don't have much of an offense, or at least when they do, it's kind of like a slower pace. It's not like going to be like a Packers Chiefs game, right? It's going to be
no,
the Bears are going to take it and they're going to try to not let Aaron Rodgers have the ball. So um, there's a lot of discussion in our chat. So I don't know if you have the Twitch open, but
no, no.
uh, Robert said Rodgers is 20-4 against the Bears.
Oh, well,
That's not against the spread because Hack
yeah, I'm not. It's not
pointed him
against
out.
the spread. Don't really care. Don't really care what his record is against the
Yeah,
Bears. I just
I
care about
think this is
if
one
they
of
can
those
cover.
ones that I would probably just stray away from.
Yeah,
But
this was a
if I
pass
had
on my week.
to,
I didn't
I
like it.
think in this discussion I would pick Packers. But I am not gonna take this and go bet $100 on the Packers right now. I'll just say that
Yeah,
much.
I think I would like if this line because I think by the time this game happens, I think the line will be at 5.5
You think so?
because
You
they
think the
have.
people are gonna be on the Packers?
I think the people will be on the Packers, and I think Vegas will start moving the line a little bit once you actually get to Sunday. So I think the line, if you wait on it, can get up to 5.5. I don't think it'll go higher than that, especially for a home team. So I could see the line moving to 5.5, and I would still take the Bears then at that point. But yeah, I think the Packers obviously win this. It's just going to be about by how much. And if you're giving me 4.5 points, I still like the home team to cover.
Yeah, I think you are definitely on the sharper side. I would say most Vegas people, when you give a team three plus points
You give a team three
at
plus points,
home,
that's kind of
that's when you
that's a
can't.
win.
Yeah, and I feel like the Packers are kind of a team like the Chiefs, to where a lot of people want to put money on them. So the spread has to move accordingly. Um, but yeah, I don't love it, but that will be my play, at least in our pick'em thing.
Yeah, Packers. I mean,
Hack, if you
Packers
could,
are 4-1 against the spread right now this year. Obviously, the first week being a complete
yeah, I
utter
would definitely
gutsy.
say that week one was a wash
Yeah,
of a game. I don't think that is on either team. I don't think the Saints are to that greatness, and I don't think
nope,
the Packers are to that shitness. So,
yeah,
um, all
agreed.
right,
Yeah.
moving
So the
on.
next
We'll
one we
just
have
do
is what
Hack, if you
Bengals.
could excel your thoughts. Yeah, next one we got Bengals Lions. I At 3.5, I think I will take the Lions on this one. Um, with that hook, especially, is where I'm enticed. I think the Lions are one of like like the most loved 0-5 like horrible team I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Like you gotta love the coach, like Jamal Williams, right? The
Yeah,
running
Packers
back.
ex running back.
Yeah, he's awesome too. And yeah, I think yeah, I mean, to me, you just got to keep riding with this team at least to keep it close. Like every game, they just are, you know, playing them real gritty. And I think if you really want to get like, safer with this, you could even like tease it up to like 10.5 and then like tease the under or something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the right play here would even be money line 155. We'll have to ask Miles because he's been correct on every game. Or was he last week? I guess he
What do
tied
you?
it. Didn't he say uh,
What was it?
Bengals and they lost? Was it
I don't think he
3?
got it last week
How much did they lose by? Bengals.
by a field goal
Okay. I think he
by
had
missing
Bengals
the
plus
field goal.
3. but he also said that they would win. So I don't know if that counts or
Oh,
not.
okay.
But
Yeah,
he did say that they would cover. Um, so I guess he just like you know
kind of covered his
kind of
bases
did
there.
right.
Yeah,
Um,
I like on this one. I like Detroit on this one.
would you go money line or no? Just three.
I think I would do just three. They just the way they've been losing,
Uh huh.
it's been horrible for them, and I think they're bound to get one. This could be one of those games where it's like a possible, like Joe Burrow doesn't show like play up to his expectations, and they
Right.
can keep it
Well,
close. And maybe Jared Goff finally balls out the way he needs to. So I think Detroit is like the Cinderella story of the NFL. Like people want them to do well. They're 2-0 against the spread at home right now. I do like again. You're giving the home team. You're giving them three, or it's at 3.5, I think, for some places. So you're giving the home team 3.5 to keep it close. I like them to be able to, at least keep it interesting. And I think we all saw, um, obviously, the Bengals defense got a little exposed against Aaron Rodgers. It is Aaron Rodgers, though, so Aaron Rodgers will expose a lot of defenses,
mhm.
especially when one of the best wide receivers, I think what he had like 200 passing yards or
That
something
was
like that. It
I
was
had
ridiculous.
Devonte Adams, and I have him in every single one of my fantasy leagues. I'm in three of them. I had the sixth pick in every single league, which is like the worst pick. I was hoping Zeke would fall to me in like one of the leagues, and he never did. Um, which I'm still kind of happy with Devonte. I can't really fret
Yeah,
about
he's
that.
he's been
But
balling out
once I
for
saw that
fantasy.
he had that, I was like, all right, well at least I won all my leagues. Like I didn't even
Yep.
have to like look. I was like, I got this.
Yeah, I like Detroit covering. I think after the press conference this last weekend with Dan Campbell, I think the team really is playing for him, and that was the one thing I was questioning before everything happened this season was can will people really take this guy seriously? I think they take him more seriously there than the Giants do with Joe Judge. Like I
Yeah,
think they believe in him more than Joe Judge,
yeah,
and that's the most surprising thing to me is Detroit really does want Campbell to win, and I think this will be one where the players kind of saw the emotion of their coach even more so this last week during that press conference and give him his first win. I like the value in the pick of the money line on this one that they're giving out. But again, it's if we're just going the spread, I do like the 3.5 for them to cover. So
yeah. Looks like we agree there. I also think that Goff has something to prove, and kind of like you said, even though the coach is kind of a crazy guy, I think everyone's kind of accepted his you know
his
mentality,
antics.
and they've kind of ran with it, right? It's not like a Urban Meyer kind of situation or like a Gruden. Um, yeah, Joe Judge would be kind of another one I would think of.
Yeah,
Um, I think that they're trying, and so with that
yeah,
being said, I think they can keep it within a field goal against a team that like the Bengals aren't insane. You know what I mean? They're still like
yeah.
a mediocre team. It's not like they're playing the Ravens or I mean they kept that close, so I can't even say that. But they're not playing the Cardinals or something like that. Okay, so next one here we have Houston at Colts. This line is 10 points. I am going to take the Texans here, as much as this pains me to do. I've been a Mills
Hey,
hater.
who'd you call out last week saying he
Dude,
was a horrible QB?
dude,
Who'd you call out last week? Who'd you call out?
I
What was his
thought,
name? Say his name.
dude, I, I will say this: when I bet
Look
his,
better than
when
Zach
I,
Wilson.
when I bet his passing yards, the line started keep moving down. So I was like, all right, everyone has the same thought process here. I bet like three different things on that game. I bet the Patriots spread, which they lost, I think.
Yeah,
Um, I bet the Texans team total under 17, I think it was, and they like in one half they got it.
They got
And
it in a
then Davis
second.
Mills under like 180 yards. I was like, this is so easy. 180, no way, he's trash. Dude had like three touchdowns, 300 yards, whatever the hell. I'm just like looking at Pierce the whole time. I'm like, dude, what the hell is this? Um, so yeah, I think, and it's not even necessarily that I'm like a Texans like fan or think that they're even relevant at all, but I I just don't think the Colts have shown that they are 10-point favorites to any team in the NFL. So that is my pick. If it was at like 7, we might be having a different conversation, but yeah, 10 is too many points to swallow on a Colts team that is not it.
Yeah,
What do you have?
I agree. And then just so you know, I just sent you the spreads and everything. But in regards
Oh,
to this one, I actually,
oh, I lost
uh,
you.
yep, you there?
Yeah.
All right. So in this
Oh,
one,
here we go. Okay.
if you're going the straight line, I agree with you. 10 points is too much. Like it's one of those things where I think they're giving them too much when you look at that game, like especially against the Colts, who just like the most emotional loss they probably had. How do you blow that big of a lead? Like obviously they're going to be pissed off coming off of that game, but Houston can still play, and I think Mills really showed himself this last weekend, really showing that he can ball out, and obviously it's not a fluke. Um, but I do like the 10 points if you're going that. I teased on this one. I have it on two. I have this one on a two-team teaser. Colts, obviously, I moved them down to 4, and then I moved the Carolina game up to 7.5
Okay.
to cover. So that's the two teams. If I was betting, I'd stayed away from this one. But if you're making a decision, I would just go with the 10 points. That's a lot of points for them to try to cover. So.
Yeah. I have a question for you because I was looking. I don't know if the people on the podcast or people in the chat have known that I did this, but I bet on the Seahawks to not make the playoffs, and I got it at plus 115. And I looked at the other books, and they're at like minus 300 and like minus 420. So Bovada is really fumbling the bag on that
Take it
line right
right.
there, at least in the sense that it's not aligned with the other ones. So I was going to ask you, who do you think is going to be the worst team in the league this year, record wise?
Record wise, I think it's a toss up. It's going to be between. I
Because
think it's going to.
I feel confident. I think in a team.
I think if I had to put money on it, I think it would be either the Jags or the Giants. I'm pretty sure. I think because I think Tyrod Taylor comes back to the Texans, and I think they can win because they're in such a crappy division. I think they can win some of those games later on in the season if Tyrod's back. So I think the Texans will squeak a few wins out. But if I'm going worst, I think it's the Jags. I don't think the Jags will. They'll maybe get 2 wins, if that. And so I think the Jags is. It's just one of those teams that is so bad, and like the coach, like obviously Urban Meyer's being a brand new NFL coach. You're giving me a new coach like that, and I think that would be the worst team for me.
Gotcha. I I'm I was fairly confident in the Texans being the worst team. I think in I think they're the one team that I don't see the same grit as I do from like the Jags and the Lions. And then like this spread kind of shows me enough to where I think they're just always going to be like 10-point underdogs like for the rest of the season. So,
Yeah, I think it'll
and
be. I don't
eh,
think they'll ever be close until Tyrod is the starting QB, and then they'll
right,
start
right.
to
Yeah,
be at
that
least 7.5
that
to 8.5 points.
that would yeah, that was probably one thing that I didn't really think about is if he comes back like what the situation would be. But yeah, I just kind of looked at that and I kind of figured it was going to be the Texans is the best. I think Texans are plus 200, plus 3. I don't think it's going to be they have the Lions as the worst team right
I
now.
don't think. I don't think the Lions are the worst.
They
Like
have
they may.
Lions at plus 200 and then they have Texans and Jags tied for 300 and then the Giants are plus 900.
Yeah, I just don't like the way the Giants have been playing at all, and especially with those injuries. Like
Yeah.
seems like
I think when it comes down to the Giants for me, I think they kind of play games close, and our division is very beatable. And the Texans, they already played their one game against the Jags, and they're going to play another one, which I think they'll lose because then they'll play at Jags. And then I think they lose versus the Colts and the Titans.
see, that's the thing.
Both.
I don't know if they lose outright to them. I think one of those teams is going to slip up. Like I think either Titans or Colts, one of them will slip up and give them a win.
Gotcha.
That's the one thing I was looking at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why they hate Detroit so much, but I just feel like
I don't get that at all.
I feel like Detroit's been keeping it close, even though they're on five. They've been keeping it close, like
Right.
keeping games competitive.
They're
So
one of those teams I feel like has just gotten super unlucky and they played games so close. Like they easily could have won, two games at this point, maybe even
yep,
three.
yep,
And the fact that they're the best odds kind of confuses me.
yeah.
All right, so next one is Rams at Giants. Um, I don't love this,
I don't
but
like the line.
I I would, if I had to pick a side here, I think I would go on the Giants because kind of like I was saying earlier, I think they kind of do play it close. I think this is another one of those games that could be like a backdoor cover kind of deal. I think Daniel Jones has looked pretty decent for the most part, and even their new receiver Tony. Um, and I think I, I'm I think the Rams are really good, but I think they're kind of on like a tiny bit of a decline. I had them at like the number one team like a week or two ago, and now I'd probably would say they're like top five. I don't know where in there, but I was like, yeah, Rams are number one, and now I don't know. I think they're beatable after what how we saw the. Oh, is Jones not playing?
Yeah, Jones isn't going to be playing. I think he's still questionable. So if
Oh
Jones
shoot.
doesn't
Okay.
play,
Well, if I knew that, then
I'm going Rams immediately
wait,
on this
who's the
one.
backup?
Don't even know.
Oh man,
That's
I
it.
did not know that. Okay. Yeah, well that's definitely a sit out game until I
Yeah, I
hear
would
anything.
pass. This is a pass for me. I didn't really like the line too much. I think if they put the line at 10.5, I'd lean more towards New York. Um, but
Yeah.
I do like the
I
Rams.
think it was 10.5 on Bovada, at least from
Yeah,
what I saw.
yeah, I like Bova's always behind. So I
Yeah.
like
Mike Glennon, that's right. He was playing. I forgot about that.
Mike
Yeah.
London's the still in the NFL to this day. But I do like the I like the Rams on this one if you're doing it at the 9.5. I think this will be a 2 touchdown game. With Saquon out and with Jones out, I really don't trust that offense at all. I think the defense for the Rams will absolutely shut them out. And I think the under would be the best bet on this one is 48.5. I think it's gonna be like a 30 to 14 game or 30-15
Yeah,
maybe.
48 is
Uh,
pretty high in the sense
yeah,
that
that's a lot. Like,
especially all those offensive pieces missing. Um, and
yeah,
then if there is some sort of game script to where the Rams just murder them in the first half, and then they just like
they just stop.
Daryl
Like that's it.
Henderson time and just run the ball like clock out. Um, so here's my opinion. If if it's at if Jones is playing and it's like 10 or 10 and a half, I would take it. If he's not, I would take the Rams up to like 14 probably.
Yeah,
Or I don't
I
know,
think
14 is a little high, but like,
if they end up rolling it out, I think what happens the line goes from 10 to 10 and a half to about 13
yeah, it has
because
to.
it has to move to that
I would
point.
say
And
13,
so,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's a 2 touchdown game. It's going to be an ugly
Mm.
one. I don't think it's going to be very pretty. Um, but I think the Rams defense will absolutely shut them out, especially with Saquon not playing. Um,
You
I
could.
don't see that
This
a
is a
lot.
game where you could tease the Rams to like 2.5, and then get their under at like what 56.5 or something. I can't.
Yeah, you could
There's
definitely
no
tease.
way this game is like. I mean, if Daniel Jones just balls out and he plays, then maybe. But I mean, I don't see The Giants are notorious for, or at least last year, for unders. So
Yeah.
I agree. I think the under is actually something I would like. I would have expected it to be more like 44 or something like that. Um, okay, so yeah, I think I would say me and you were probably kind of close on that. I'm gonna stay away until I didn't realize that Jones was that injured, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so Chiefs Washington. I already bet this. I don't love it as much anymore because I bet it before the Chiefs played the Bills, but I bet on the Chiefs 6.5. I would say that it's probably not what the sharps like. Jamie likes the Chiefs at 6.5. Um, but I think there's a lot of injuries on Washington. Jamie, if you're in the chat, hello. He told me to say that. It gave me all the notes. But yeah, I think there's some injuries on Washington, and it's tough to take the Chiefs right now. But when I kind of look at the two teams, I would just prefer the firepower that the Chiefs have. Um, and I think, if we're getting it at 6.5, and I kind of got to roll with it already because I already made the bet. I thought the line would move up to like 7.5, which maybe it will. But right when I saw it at 6.5, I was like, all right, I'm gonna snag that. Um, but yeah, this was before the Bills game, and then the Bills just like murdered the Chiefs, and then now people are like, oh, the Chiefs are not it, and I kind of was like, all right, Chiefs are gonna, play well, and then this is another game that they're gonna do good, but some people are thinking they're gonna be on the decline. So what about you?
Yeah, yeah. On this one, you're giving me 6.5. I don't necessarily like this because both teams are horrible against the freaking spread. Washington's 1-4 against the spread this year,
Yeah.
and they're 0-3 at home. So it's not one that I generally would lean towards for this. I do have this in one of my teasers though, where I teased the Chiefs from 6.5 down to point 0.5. So that's pretty much pick 'em. This is one of my favorite like teasers. So I have the Chiefs at point 0.5, and then I have who was the other one? There it is, and the Bucks at point 0.5. So it's
Mm.
pretty much pick 'em.
I
So I
could.
just have
Yeah, that was that
that's my
was that
that's
was
like
my
my
pick.
favorite teasers.
Like 2 weeks ago, I had that same one, or from obviously they were playing different teams, but
Yeah,
it was the Bucks beating the Patriots, and then it was the Chiefs beating the
and if you didn't,
Eagles, I
yeah,
think.
because if you didn't tease it down, then they wouldn't have covered. Like so, this
Yeah,
is one of those things where
I like that. I think I could low key see the Eagles like winning on Thursday, but
yeah.
I would say I like the bet still.
Yeah, and so on this one, if it's still at 6.5. This will be a touchdown game. I don't think this is going to be as close as a lot of people think. Washington's defense has just been atrocious. I don't know if they have like a paper bag coaching the defense right now. It looks like Chase Young is not really having the start of the year that he was hoping for. And so I think through the first 4 games he had 0 sacks, and I don't even know if he got one last week. But we're hoping, everybody was hoping this year that Washington would be the team that could run away with it. And the
People thought they were going to
Cowboys,
win the
yeah,
division. You and Mills
yeah.
probably did. Mills definitely did. I know that for sure.
I was high on their defense this year. Obviously, the quarterback situation wasn't my favorite for them, but if you're giving me 6.5, I'm going to take the Chiefs on this. I just lean towards them. I don't think I would ever bet this one. The only reason I'm betting is because I have it in a 2 game teasers.
Right.
So that's the only reason I'm even betting this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I like the Chiefs here. I think it has potential to be high scoring, just because the Chiefs defense looks super bad, and
Yeah,
I think Washington can definitely score, 27 points, maybe 24 to 27 points. I think it could be like a 34 to 24, something like that is kind of what I
yeah,
would guess. Um, So yeah, that's my play, and I already made it thinking that it would jump to 7.5, and it didn't. Um, Next one is Cardinals at Browns. This one's at 3 points. I was kind of um, shocked.
So this one, by the way,
Moved also, right?
just today was starting the day off at 2.5, went up to 3.5 at 1 o'clock, and went back down to 3.
So
So it's
I
been
think I
moved.
think this game has a lot of different sides on it. Is kind of what that says to me.
Yeah.
I think people have differing opinions on this. I personally was shocked that the Cardinals were underdogs. Um, so I took the Cardinals money line just because like I don't know if the
Well, I mean,
Browns.
why would you be shocked? Because like the Browns.
I wouldn't say necessarily like shocked. I think the 3 points is what I'm the most shocked at.
Hmm.
I think the Cardinals are a better team than the Browns.
Yeah. Oh no. There's
So
no
like
question
to
about that. I think
me,
they're a better team.
that would mean that it shouldn't be they shouldn't be 3 point favorites. Like to me, it should be like a 1 point, if anything, like Browns -1. So yeah, the line just confuses me. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I mean, they're giving the home team 2.5 or home field advantage or whatever. So
right,
that they're saying that this is a straight pick'em game if it was on a neutral
right.
field.
But even I wouldn't agree with
I
that. Like
wouldn't. Yeah.
I
I don't
yeah,
necessarily get that.
Vegas is basically saying that these two teams are equal, or the Browns might even be better, is what they're saying. And yeah, maybe what Robert's saying, it might be a matchup kind of base thing,
Yeah,
but
because you're looking at the two teams like their strengths and their weaknesses. Obviously, the strengths of the Cardinals is obviously their offense being the key. The strengths of the Browns is going to be the defense. It's really going to be a battle of attrition here. Like the game plan of the Browns is going to be run the ball down the throat of the Cardinals to
uh
keep Kyler Murray off the field. If
right.
they can keep him off long enough, that's why I see where Vegas is kind of going at. Like, I mean, the Browns are what the number one rushing offense in the league right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So it's not like they can't do that in keeping Kyler off the field long enough. It's just going to be about whether or not I think Arizona's defense can step up and stop the run, like the Browns defense has been doing so against many other teams. Obviously, the last game kind of being a fluke where two high-powered
I liked
offenses
I
came
liked
in.
the under on that game, and the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers
That was
blew that
the
out within the
Chargers
first half.
themselves beat the under, or like
So it was
I
like
got it at
40. Was it
47,
40?
and they
Yeah,
scored 47 points, and I was literally just like, this is just hilarious. Like
yeah.
I
Is
think we all agreed that we liked the under.
Yeah, I did like the under on that one, but on this one, if I had to lean towards it, I'm going to lean towards the Cardinals. Like you were saying, if they were playing on a neutral field, and Vegas is saying these are both the same team, like are as good as each other, what the Cardinals are better right now. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think the Cleveland's too one dimensional when it comes to their offense, in being that if they do, they're afraid to let Baker try to throw the ball. and obviously the success they've been having has been when they just run the ball a lot. But I think I like the Cardinals on this one. They're on a roll right now, and this could be a trap game, though, like Robert was saying.
Yeah.
This
No, I
could be
mean,
their first loss. So
I can see why someone would think the Browns, are the play, but when I'm looking at plus 150 with a team that's undefeated, I would ride that wave rather than going, I mean
a
the
three and
Browns
two
on the
team.
money line are minus 170. That just is like way too high for me.
Yep,
Like I still to me coin
you're
flip.
getting
I'm
you're
gonna
looking at
do,
value. That's all
and
you're
then
doing.
I'm gonna be like, all right, plus 150. There we go. Like
Yep,
I,
agreed.
I'm, I think the Cardinals right now are like a top three team in the NFL, and to me, the Browns are like a top 10 team.
Yeah, I'd probably put them. Yeah, they'd be top 10 still. Like
Like
even
I
with
don't
two
think they're
losses.
better than the Packers. I
I
think
think they maybe.
the Cowboys are better in my eyes.
Yes, Cowboys are better.
Um, the Rams are better, I think.
Mm,
Yeah, I would pick the Rams over them. I keep thinking like of a Super Bowl situation. Chargers are obviously better, and then the
the real question is, would you pick the
Bucks are
Chiefs?
better. So yeah, they're like 6 or 7 probably.
Yeah, I think I'd have them at about 7 or 8, somewhere in
Yeah,
there
yeah,
right now.
yeah. I don't know. Like we're saying, when it comes down to the whole like power rankings and all that kind of thing, the line itself to me should be like more like 1. And when I see 3, I am like, all right, well the value there is on the Cardinals.
Yep,
That's my opinion of someone that hasn't watched much of either team, but that's what I think. And all right, so
agreed.
the next one, um, which I'm
I hate
kind
this one.
of I'm
I hate
kind
it.
of differing on my opinion now. I just want to say congrats to Basashia for getting the head coach. His daughter is one of my really good friends in Dallas, and he's been coaching in the NFL for like 30 years now, and he's finally getting the gig. And with that being said, I think the Raiders are going to kind of, um, you know, get behind him. And there could have been some differing opinions on Gruden already, all season maybe. And so I think the team could, corral behind Bisaccia and cover this at least 3.5. Um, I but I also had already made the play on the Broncos -3, and that was when the whole Gruden news was coming out because that's like when Alex comes in and just makes the bets. Right when I see, and I've said it on this podcast multiple times, right when I hear anything negative about an organization in any sort of way, I automatically pick other team, and I did that. I've done it like 5 times this year, and it's always worked like all the time. When the Giants were like having their like practice problems and getting in fights all the time, and Looney quit the team, I was like, all right, Broncos are gonna win, and they like murdered the Giants. Um, and then the Jags with the whole Urban Meyer thing, they haven't been playing. They're horrible. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Um, and so that was my right when I was watching Monday Night Football and I was reading those messages that people were sending. I was like, all right, like Broncos -3. And then now I'm kind of like wishy-washy on it. I'm like, I don't know. I could like see the Raiders even being better randomly. And I maybe I'm getting biased just because I'm like excited for my friend. But and the line especially now it's moved to 3.5. So right when you hit that hook, I don't know. Um, I think to me now at 3.5, I would pick Raiders. What do you think?
Yeah, on this one, if you're giving this is I pass. I don't like betting when there's turmoil like that for a team. But if you're giving me 3.5 as a value, I take the 3.5. Obviously, if you compare side by side, I think the Raiders' offense is better than Denver's.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Denver's had a
Obviously,
lot of injuries too.
The defense is the only issue, obviously, when you look at them, because Denver's defense, you kind of like, you just face the Steelers who suck on offense right now, and you allow them to score, what, 20, it was 20 something points. But even then, it was like you couldn't hold it or hold it together to beat them. So when you're talking about the turmoil that's happening with them, I think they'll be fine even with Gruden, stepping down. I don't think their team's going to really disintegrate worse than what they already were, because I think that's how the Raiders start the season off. They always start off hot and they end up falling off. That's how the Raiders always are every season. That's typically how the Cardinals are, but the Cardinals are still on a hot streak right now, doing
Yeah.
amazing. Um, yeah, 3.5. You're just giving me 3.5. That's the main thing. If it was at 3, I think I'd go Denver then and just keep it as a push if they end up covering.
Mm.
But it's you're giving me a 3.5 value. I'm going to take the 3.5 just to cover. But
Yeah.
this was a pass for me. I didn't necessarily like betting this one.
I think when it comes down to it, I think this game is also going to be relatively close and low scoring. So with a game that is low scoring, I think you kind of have to take the underdog. I mean, this is probably going to be, a 21-24, probably something like that.
Yeah, because
Either
Vegas,
team
I think
winning.
Vegas has it at 44. I think it's the lowest of the week. No, Houston, Indianapolis is. But they have it at 44 points is what they're
Yeah.
saying it's going to be
Right,
at.
right. So yeah, I mean, when there is an over under that is that low, I think that also means that you should look at a team that's an underdog in this standpoint. And I don't think the Broncos are ever they're never going to be that team that's going to murder somebody by 10 plus, like
Yeah,
for the most part, right? When if they're playing good teams, which I think the Raiders right now are a decent team, they're not going to blow them out of the water. But yeah, this line just itself kind of scares me with all the drama within the organization. I saw that their Carl Nassib took like the day off today, or like yesterday or tomorrow or something like that, with the whole Gruden bullshit going on. So I don't know what's happening within the org. It could they take it two ways. It either goes to shit and they look horrible, or they get it together and they look good. And I don't know. I feel like the Broncos are they're kind of on like a decline now. They've got a lot of injuries, and obviously their schedule at the beginning was super easy. So yeah, I think we're kind of on the same brain on that one. So next one, Cowboys Patriots. I lines at 3.5 now. I got it like a week or longer ago at -1. It moved all the way to -3.5. I think before I bet it, I honestly think the Cowboys were 1 point underdogs. I'm pretty
hmm.
sure. And I was just like scrolling through my app one day and I was like, 1 point? I was like, yes, give me Cowboys. And this, I don't, dude, it was like a long time ago. I think it was like before the or like maybe it was right after the Bucks game or something. Who did the Patriots play? Oh yeah, they almost lost to the Texans, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it was before that game when I bet it. Um, so yeah, it must have been like more than a week ago. So yeah, obviously I'm on the Cowboys here. I'm gonna keep riding the Cowboys. 5-0 against the spread. Vegas still isn't ready for us. I think we're a top 3 team right now. I would say top 5 at least. Um, I think our defense. I mean, I'm not gonna say exactly what I said earlier, but 3.5 Cowboys got it at 1 already, so that's my play.
yeah. So on this one, it's the line that's you're kind of looking at that's given the value. A lot of places actually have it at 4.5 now. So if you end up getting it even at 4.5, but 3.5 is kind of what you're looking at. You just have to keep it within a field goal for New England. Um, The only thing I'm scared about betting against the Cowgirls is they are 5-0 against the spread right now.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things like they are handedly covering their spreads. It's not like they're not like even with the Chargers one, like they were not favored for that game.
Hmm.
So it's one of those
Only
things
won by
like
7, and then
yeah,
yeah, then
exactly.
the Panthers we beat them by like more than a touchdown, and then
Yep.
same thing with the Giants and Eagles,
Yeah.
and
So I think New England is they're still trying to figure out their
right.
identity, and
They're
I think
not
the
even a good
Cowgirls.
team either. That's kind of what
Yeah,
I was like.
I think the Cowgirls already know who they and they have their game plan set. And I think this will be a touchdown game.
Yeah.
Like it'll be just by 7 points they beat them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because it's still in New England.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Patriots have a pretty decent defense too, right?
yeah,
But
this is the only one where I would choose the favorite. Or obviously not the home underdog. In this case, I would choose the Cowgirls to cover. Again, I think it's a touchdown game. Like I think it's somewhere along the lines of like it's going to be 7 to 10 points, maybe that the Cowboys win by. So I think New England's trying to piece it together. I do think Mac Jones is the answer for them, but I just don't think he's developing as fast as Bill Belichick wants him to. Or at least they don't trust him enough. We talked about that the last episode where
mm,
they really. I just don't know why you don't he's 17 completions in a row. Why don't you let him go for it on 4th and 2? Like you should have let him go for it at that
oh
point.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's again 4.5 points. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys until they start showing concern for me.
Mm,
So I'm with you on that one. So
yeah. Hack said top 3. I'm wild. He probably actually agrees with me, but who knows? I think my top 3 in no order: Cardinals. Oh, Bills for sure.
Bills are number one. I have
Cardinals,
them up there.
or yeah, Bill. I would say Bills, Cardinals, Cowboys, then Rams, maybe, then
You leave
Bucks.
the Packers.
That'd be
You leave
like.
the Packers out there too.
I think I would like the Cowboys over the Packers. Yeah, I think we're a more of a complete team than the
I'll
Packers are.
send
At
this.
least at
Let me
at
send the link to Aaron Rodgers so he can listen to you
at
say
this
that.
moment right now. I'm not saying in like a. I'm saying in just a regular season game. I'm not going playoffs yet, or I'm not looking to the future. But like as of now, if like we were to play them, I think we would win. Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I'm at,
All right.
and that's saying a lot because I'm big on the Packers. This Seahawks Steelers. I already told y'all my opinions on the Seahawks. I think they're going to start choking hard now. I think I think the Seahawks are very reliant on Russell Wilson, and now that we remove him from the situation, I think
It's going to
they're
show.
just going to start getting hammered. And people are the comeback to that is, oh well, Geno Smith, he looked great. He also played where they're super behind and the other defense is playing super far back, like a
And
pretty good D.
that defense was already gassed to begin with.
Right.
Like it's
And
like
then you saw him on his first play to now lead the team to a win, and he throws a pick on the first play of the drive. I'm like, all right, here he is. Like, I just think, as much as I hate Russell Wilson, I still think he's like a top. Oh, man, it's so hard.
he's a
There's
top
so
10.
many.
He's a top 10.
No, well, I was gonna say 5, but
I don't know about
before the
that. He's top
podcast
10 though.
next week, I'm going to try my best to put together the top 10 because I honestly don't know where I'm gonna place some of these quarterbacks. But
Yeah.
yes, he's easily top 10 quarterback, and their team is just all around bad everywhere. Outside of like Metcalf, they have just holes all over the place. So, and as much as the Steelers like aren't great, I still trust Tomlin. I
I
trust
trust
them at home.
defense and Tomlin.
Yeah, Tomlin, the defense at home, and I almost feel like Juju being out,
He's going to help him.
he might have like an Odell factor where like I think he might be trying to get it to him, and then now it kind of just like opens it up a little bit, and
Johnson,
they're kind of
Deontay Johnson is absolutely going to eat now that
yeah,
Juju's out. Like
right,
he is
right,
going to be him and Claypool are going to go
right.
hand in hand, and I
That's what I'm
think
saying.
that's going
And
to be one of the things. Like
right, I think removing him like almost could it if anything, it's just like fine or like it could be better, like low
yeah,
key. So yeah, I'm gonna ride -5. I already played this like a while ago, thinking the line was gonna move and it didn't. Um, but yeah, I've been hearing the Geno Smith bullshit. I'm just like, dude, that guy's been in the league too long, hasn't shown me anything, and Russell Wilson literally has been carrying that football team for 10 years. So, what do you got?
yeah, you're gonna obviously. I'm going the Steelers on this one. This may be my lock of the week, being the Steelers, only because of the injuries that happened. Um, yeah, I don't understand why the line didn't move more towards the Steelers. I thought this line would be at like 7.5,
That's what I thought too.
possibly. So
I
if
really
I'm getting
did.
that much of a value out of it, I'm going to take the Steelers on this. The over under is the one I'm looking at, 42.5. That's the lowest of the week. Obviously, they don't think a whole lot of points will happen, and I really don't think it will either.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be
I
another,
could see it being
you
like
know,
24-10 or something like that, or
yeah,
like
20,
24-13.
24-14,
Right.
somewhere in there. Like the ball, I can see that happening. I think Steelers' game plan is going to be run the ball down the Seahawks' throats. Like they are literally going to give Najee Harris probably 20 to 30 carries, somewhere in the ballpark of there. They just want to be able to eat out the clock and win by. They don't care how they win the season. That's the thing. They're not obviously winning off a style, but this is one of those free wins that thankful. You hate to wish for injury, but this is going to make the Steelers 3-3 and keep them within the division to
We
hopefully
gotta
not be the
the
worst in our own.
I was gonna
So
say the Steelers' future is like the only one I'm like nervous about right now. And
yeah,
I
because
made that I
it's
made that mid season, but yeah, I have them like over. I think it's over 8.5.
it's over 8.5 because we were talking about
Yeah,
that at the beginning of the
yeah,
season, and I bet the over because I have them at 9. What I had them at. But this is one of those must-win games for them if they want to even stay in contention.
yeah,
So it's one of those things. It's we were talking about it, but Juju being out could be a blessing for them. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't think the Seahawks even keep it close really
yeah.
for this game.
I agree. I've stayed true to myself throughout this whole thing, but I'm a very quarterback person, and I think I just trust Roethlisberger, even though he's
Sure,
obviously
still playing on
declining.
time.
I still just trust him more than Geno, and
Yeah,
I I've been hearing that they're equals, and I just don't see that at all.
yeah, yep.
Okay, next one, Bills at Titans. I think it is um, everyone I think agrees that the Bills are the best team in the NFL right
Yeah,
now, or hopefully they should believe that.
agreed.
I got a bet on them on my bookie for them to win the AFC or to make it to I think it's to win, to
AFC
make it
champ.
to make it to the Super Bowl
Oh, I guess.
at plus 400. I think now they're at like plus 250. Um, they were honestly my preseason team. I wish I probably would have said Bills Bucks would be the Super Bowl. Is probably what I would have said. I love I'm like they're my like AFC team is like the Bills, man. Like I owe Diggs like $700 because he won me my fantasy league. Um, but yeah, I just think I bet the line at I think it was 3. I like low key think I got it at 3. Let me check right now. But yeah, right when I saw the line, I was like, dude, this is off, and I bet it, and I know it moved. 3. I got it at Bills -3. So yes, I would take this up to probably at least 7, and I probably would still take it more than that. I just think the Bills are just such a all around outside of maybe their like running backs. I think all around they're just like freak of nature team, and even their tight end is kind of like getting a lot of looks now. Like he's been like a little fantasy sneak pickup now too. Um, But yeah, I think me and you and Miles even have had our doubts on the Titans. I think everyone's starting to have kind of doubts on the Titans. They've had two really, or they could have at this point maybe only have one win because they've just snuck out a couple victories. And I think the Bills are just dominating teams. They
Yeah.
killed the Chiefs. So
Yeah, so right now, what you look at, especially the strengths and weaknesses of this. Like obviously, the strengths is going to be the running game for Titans. That's the one thing you're looking at. Bills' defense is number 3 in the run game right now, in preventing the run at like 78 yards a game or something like that, which is great. I don't, I just don't see Tennessee, even though they're home underdogs. I don't see Tennessee keeping this one close. Like I wouldn't. I strayed away from it.
this is one of those ones that I mean Tannehill's going to have to
He has the
throw
ball
the
out.
ball, right? And I think the Titans are they're like a worse version of the Browns, kind of, where they have to rely so much on their run. And I think the Bills are just going to start taking this away.
Yeah, at least the
And the Josh
Browns
Allen,
have a
bro, he's like
defense, and then Titans don't have a defense. So that's it. I think
right.
Josh, this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back for the Titans. Like this will be the game that pretty much is like, okay, you guys are not that guy. Like you really aren't. If they keep it close, I'll be impressed. That'll be when you're like, okay, maybe Tennessee can.
That might be the new worst team or worst division in the NFL.
Yes, it'll be very
It's not. I
close.
don't think it's a laughing stock of the NFC East anymore.
No, I think. Well, yeah, I don't know. You still have a lot in
I
your.
think when it comes down to it, I think there's going to be more wins in the NFC East than there will be in the AFC South in total.
Mm,
I think me personally thinks that the Giants, Eagles, and Washington could probably pull out like maybe not the Giants, but the other two like 6 to 7, 6, and then the
I
Giants
know.
like
I think that.
4.
I don't know.
Cowboys could win like 13, and then you look at the other division, Colts
Yeah, I guess you're right. The
7,
AFC South. Yeah, I don't think they win.
and then like those other two shit teams like 2 or 3, and then the the Titans win like 8, and then get in the and then win the
I think the
division
Titans.
at like
Yeah, the
8 and
Titans are going
9,
to win. Yeah, I think
9 to
they'll win.
8.
I don't even think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be like 7. I think 7 wins it easy for them. Like I don't think anybody gets it even close. The
Yeah,
Colts maybe, but it's going to be the same thing that happened last year. Like it's going to be a 7 to 8 win team that makes it in out of that division, and you're like, man, this team shouldn't be there. Like why are they even in the playoffs?
right.
But yeah, if we're looking at this one, I think I'm not going to bet against. I'm not going to bet against them, so I'm going to bet the Bills on this one. I'm not very happy choosing that just because I do like home underdogs, but I mean I think Vegas has like almost a lot of the public betting the Bills. The main thing you'd be looking at is really the value, because that's minus 225 for a straight up win. The over, what's it, 54 points? I think it's going to be under 54. I don't think that's going to be a very high scoring game to say the least, especially with them being able to stop Derrick Henry. So I just don't see a very high scoring game, but I do see what you were saying that Tannehill does need to throw the ball to catch up for this game,
Right.
because it could get ugly in the first half where you see the Bills, they're up 24-10 or something at half, and then they're just going to have Tannehill unload and try to get back in points. So
What is your lock of the week then?
So my lock of the week is going to be the Steelers. I'm taking that one. I
I
just
was
don't.
actually considering that as well.
I don't see Seattle really keeping that close. Like we were saying, I think this game, for that game, it's going to be like 24-27. Like it'll be 27 to like 14 or something like that. I think that's more along the lines of what the score will be, and I think I think Big Ben, even though he's been playing horrible, he's going to be able to outduel Geno Smith. I'm not
Yeah.
concerned about him outdueling Geno Smith. It's more so going to just be about the coaching, Tomlin putting a good game plan against Geno Smith. And our defense is obviously we still have a good defense. Our
Yeah.
defense is
Right.
still a strong point. So
Right. I think it's funny because we're both picking our teams probably as a lock.
yeah,
I
I would. I mean, I think that's a lock too.
yeah.
That's,
I'm
I like the Cowboys in that one. So
yeah. My I got him at -1, and this is 3.5. So
yeah,
it's different because I haven't even thought about it. I'm just like I already got my pick. But I even probably at 3.5. I still I would say is my lock.
I
So
think the other one I really like. Um, we'll get his pick tonight, so I can put it in.
mhm. I need
But
everyone on Action Network. No one loves it as much as I do, but
I know we don't know how to use it as
I
well.
like seeing everyone's plays that I can tail. But
Um, I think I really do like that Texans Colts one at 10.5, or I think it's at 10.5, or is it 10?
10.
Yeah, I
I
think
was
I like
considering
that.
that at +10.
I think if you wait till Sunday, you may be able to get it at 10.5 if they move the line. But if it goes down to 9.5, then I don't like it as much. So if you get it at 10.5, I love that for the Texans to cover that. I think that defense is just exhausted right now, and I don't think this after that loss. I just don't think they have a whole lot of gas in the tank.
Yeah.
Obviously, Carson Wentz is going to play out 75% of the games, which is great for the Eagles. So, Eagles fans, just shut the fuck up. You're getting your top three first round draft pick, or you're getting three first round draft picks this next year. So, use them wisely. That was a huge, them getting the Miami pick was amazing for them. And then obviously getting the pick this year from the Colts is going to be amazing if the Colts end up finishing the season off the way they are. That could be two top 10 draft picks for them. That's insane.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully the Eagles figure out what they're doing with their QB and
Yeah.
see if Hurts is that person.
That guy.
But I think it's the coach I'd be more concerned about with the Eagles being the main thing. So
Alrighty. Well, that's it. And we will close it out. We will get Miles's pick and we'll put all of our picks out and run that parlay, see what wins. Maybe we can buy half a point for Cowboys, just get it to 3, be safe.
be
Um,
confident in your pick.
nah, yeah, I mean, I think we win by more than a touchdown,
Oh yeah,
but
I think it's a touchdown. I think you
just
just win by a
usually when I
touchdown.
make parlays, I like to be like, all right, there's no fucking way this loses.
I think
And
I think
obviously it will normally, but whenever I look at it, I'm like, all right, they
I mean
really can't score more than 3 or like
the only difference is you guys are playing away and we're playing. Oh,
right, right.
like I think it's
We
going to
have
be
if you want to go with Hacks play of the week, this is the Chargers. So you could
the Chargers.
put an RF play of the week in.
I think I like the Chargers on that one plus 3.5, but it's still Baltimore, so it's that's the only
Yeah.
concern I have. But 3.5 is a good cover for them because even if they lose, they still just keep it close.
Yep. All right.
Yeah,
Well, thank you everyone for watching, and give us a YouTube like, comment once it's up. Next week we'll be doing the QBs. We'll have to run through that pretty quick, and
yep,
then hopefully we can get this down to about an hour. This got to like an hour 28, so that's
yeah.
not too
So we'll keep
bad.
it
But yeah,
we'll keep it to an hour. That's
yeah
what we'll try to do.
we'll try to get it down, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thank you.